Hey there, Wargamers, Justin here, Painter, and today, boom, I want to talk about the Uller / Kit Fox. I'd like to welcome you guys back to the channel here. If you are new here, please alpha strike that like and subscribe button, smash it like you mean it, take all of that energy that you will be focusing into the enemy mech, and let's focus it into helping the channel grow. If you're a returning viewer, thank you for being an awesome Sibkin, Sibco, Lancemate, Starmate. Thanks for having my six, and I appreciate you being here. That said, today I want to get into the Uller / Kit Fox, a particular variant that I have seen used at Southern Assault at the one major tournament I go to a year, and I really like it, and I think it is something that is worth bringing up. So the particular variant we're looking at today is the Uller Kit Fox V, coming in at 28 points, 12 movement, TMM2, 110 for damage, 3 armor, 2 structure. Now it's got a couple of, it's got one in particular special ability that is pretty nice. It's got ART AC-1, Case, and Omni. Now this is usable in Clan Invasion all the way up through the Ill Clan, and it is usable by a huge variety of factions. I don't want to list all of them, but the further you get into the timeline, it gets a little bit more restrictive. But in general, you're probably going to be okay using this for most of your common clan factions. Also, it's usable by Wolf Dragoons, which is really important to me because that's my primary faction. That said, why do I like this? Why are people fielding this in the tournaments? Well, that is because it's got artillery. Now, its damage output isn't particularly high, 110. But it's not here to be shooting damage. It's here to shoot, reposition, shoot again. And this particular guy gave me a little bit of a headache when I played against him. It's 12 moves, not massive, but it's not nothing. 2 TMMs, not super amazing, but it's not nothing. So being able to move this guy and consistently throw out I believe it is a medium blast template every turn. It ends up to being a point where you can't ignore him, and he's just going to consistently throw blast templates at you. You don't give a crap about short and medium range of this guy. He does 1 damage. Now, yes, because artillery is an additional weapon that you get to fire in addition to everything else. If you are medium range, yeah, sure, you could take 2 shots. You know, whatever, shoot your medium and then fire your artillery. But because artillery is treated as long range anywhere you shoot it, whether you're short or long range, there's really no incentive for you to take your Kit Fox and get up into short range. So when you're playing, you can skirt the outer edges of the board and leverage that +4 to hit at long range with his TMM of a 2 and try and increase the odds that he survives, right? And then consistently every turn rain down an artillery template. And I think that is fantastic. It's dirty, it's nasty, and I think with his ability to reposition relative to what an artillery tank or artillery piece might be able to do, makes him a very key candidate to consider for your list, something to bring some blast templates to the table to help deal with infantry, help deal with clustered up mechs, and it catches people off guard. If they don't realize he's got artillery, because it's just an Uller, it's unassuming, it doesn't look like it's going to do much, then all of a sudden they stack up their mechs, they're not paying attention, then boom, you catch them with a template. Every turn you're firing it. The other thing that's really nice with this is that it scatters. So if you fail to hit, there's a chance you might scatter into your opponent's other stuff. The thing that's interesting with that, however, or downside to bring up, is that you could scatter into your own stuff. One of the other things that is really nice about the artillery in particular is that you can choose not to target a unit. You could target the ground. So if you're going up against something with a very high TMM, let's say a fire moth, which is really common for the clanners, it's got that TMM4 and that ridiculous movement. You throw that blast template under its feet, and if you've got a reasonable skill yourself, it becomes much easier to hit the ground than it does the fire moth. And this artillery piece, if I recall, does 2 damage raw. So if you hit that fire moth, it's dead. So it's really nasty, and if your opponent's got particularly fragile or glass cannon units, they can't ignore this guy, and they're going to have to go after him. Now, there's not much more to talk about with this guy, more just bringing into focus that this particular fella here has artillery on it, and it might be something for you to consider if you haven't looked at it. It comes in at 28 points. It isn't nothing. It is not an insignificant amount of points, but for what he brings to the table, I think it's pretty good, and it might even actually be worth bumping his skill up just a little bit. Probably put him into the low 30s for points if you make him skill 3. That way you help offset some of the penalties for firing artillery and being considered at long range all the time. That said, this was a short one. I just want to talk about this guy and draw some attention to it. If this is something you want to try in your games, sound off in the comments below. Let me know if you have. Let me know if you enjoyed it or didn't. Anything at all. If there are other mechs that you enjoy that sport artillery, sound off in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what variants you're running so we can get a conversation going and I can be exposed to some units that I have perhaps never seen or considered before. That said, folks, thank you for tuning in today. I appreciate you being here. Hopefully you get your hobby on, get your juices flowing for list creation and finding units that you like. As always, keep rolling your dice, keep painting your models, and I will catch you guys next time. Pew pew! If you guys are still sitting here watching this, let's take a moment to put a pop-up here to showcase those wonderful Patreon supporters here. We'll let that scroll here, and thank you so much for supporting what I do. That's super awesome. I really do appreciate that.